Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Spirits Home, our July talk, which was inspired by Reverend Anne. I said, "What should I talk about in July?" And she said, "Well, it's right after July 4th, so let's talk about freeing our mind." And I went, "That's a brilliant idea." So we're going to talk about freeing our mind today. We have lots of new guests, so I'm very excited. So we're going to start with a little Karen Drucker music. Here we go. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Wow! Peace, peace, peace. Got excited. Peace, peace, peace. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love.
Oh, and breathing in that love, that peace, that joy that we are. Absolutely knowing that that one power lives and breathes and has its way through us. It is that perfect expression of love and peace and joy. And we are so blessed today, knowing that we are blessed by each other. We are blessed by this talk, blessed by Spirit's home existence, connecting, raising our vibration together, knowing that as we raise our vibration in that one mind of God, it goes out into our communities and to the world, raising up that love and that light. We are a blessing to each other as we bless the world. I simply release this and say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Mm. And the many sacred readings
Oh my.
from Phineas Quimby, the minds of individuals mingle like atmospheres, and every person's identity exists in this atmosphere. From Emma Curtis Hopkins, you have no idea how much of the inefficiency of humankind comes from thinking about the wrongdoings of others and of ourselves. There's nothing more miserable than to feel that by some mistake in life you have not amounted to what you might have, and that your misfortunes all hinge on that mistake. And finally, 3 different readings from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. We will walk on our own feet. We will work with our own hands. We will speak our own minds. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment.
All right. Thank you, Anne. Here we go. So take a moment. Just take a moment right now. Relax your eyes and take a deep breath. Since you woke up today, how many negative thoughts have passed through your mind? Were you a touch cranky when you woke up? Was there a lingering memory of a recent interaction that irritated you? Were you dreading something that you had to do today? Were you already starting to think about all you had to do tomorrow? Okay, come back to this moment, and most importantly, shake all of that off. This is not about blaming or shaming or calling anyone out for something. It's an observation, a witnessing. Witnessing is key when it comes to freeing your mind, and we're going to get back to witnessing in a little bit. There is so much written about this idea of freeing our minds. Songs, poems, stories, books. We have been given so much guidance to do this thing. 3 amazing songs that I love go right for the truth without hesitation. En Vogue's Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow. From India Ari, I release all these disappointments from my mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional body because I know that spirit guides me and love lives inside me. That's why today I take life as it comes. And then from my personal inspiration, Todd Rundgren, listen to the voice that whispers in the silence. Listen as the voice solidifies your self-reliance. Let the peace that you've discovered be a guiding light. Let the cry that you've uncovered set the world all right. We can get so caught up in our own minds, in our own thoughts. And in case you weren't aware of this, our human mind is not always the kindest or the most honest with us. Think about it. How many times have you left the house feeling really good about how you looked and then saw a photograph of yourself and the entire illusion was shattered? Just me that happens to? Okay. Maybe you've walked into a room feeling confident about who you are, what you know, and what you're capable of, and then for some reason you suddenly get the idea that maybe you know nothing and you have no business being in that room at all. Once again, this could just be me that this happens to. Confidence is a muscle, one that needs to be stretched, exercised, encouraged, and nourished. And it is best to have something to back up that confidence. When I used to teach classes in nonviolent conflict resolution, one of the pithy phrases I used to use was, confidence without competence will get you into big trouble. To free our mind from the doubts and uncertainties that stop us from pursuing our dreams takes confidence and competence. Let's go to a master for this. Morpheus from the Matrix movie series. And I just have to say, I finished the talk yesterday, and this morning I was literally watching this movie when I woke up this morning. So I just want to say that with all 4 Matrix movies, it's really easy to get caught up and seriously confused in some of the concepts that the Wachowski siblings presented to us. So let's not worry about that. The basic thread of the story is that our bodies are being kept alive in pods, and our minds are being shown a simulated reality, a movie, if you will, of the world that we want to live in. Not the big R real world, the world of illusions, the world of falsity, a quote-unquote easier existence. In the fourth movie, one character even refers to those living in their pods in the Matrix as sheeple, saying that although Neo, Keanu Reeves, might want to free the minds of everyone in their pods, the sheeple will always choose what is most comfortable, the familiar, even if it's not real. They will choose to never free their minds. Morpheus, who is played in the first 3 movies by Lawrence Fishburne and in the 4th movie brilliantly by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, struggles to get Thomas Anderson, Keanu Reeves' persona when he's inside the Matrix, to recognize that he's actually Neo in the real world, big R real world. Neo is a hero, the one that will save everyone. Okay, I'm getting into it. So it's too complicated from that moment on. Basically, Neo is there to save everyone from the fabricated and unreal world of the pods inside the Matrix. It's a great movie. They're all 4 great movies. But it's not easy for Morpheus to convince Thomas to leave the Matrix. He struggles with his true identity of Neo. Even after he does enter the big R real world, he doesn't believe that he is the one. Even though there's a part of him that knows who he is, embracing it is really hard for him. He wants proof. He wants evidence. And this is where things can get tricky. I'm sure you've all heard the famous and biblical definition of the word faith. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Before anyone freaks out, I'm not here talking about religious faith. I'm talking about the big F faith that we all must lean into so that we can get out of bed every morning. That kind of faith is the very essence of Neo's journey, and also the journey of so many characters that I've spoken of from other movies. Dorothy Gale, taking her journey on the Yellow Brick Road. Indiana Jones, standing at the chasm trying to get to the Holy Grail. Brother Francesco, walking away from his home in Assisi into the wilderness. Pai Patel, on the ocean with a tiger named Richard Parker. We can be taught, shown, even guided to the edge of truth, of knowing our mind can be free from the shackles, for the most part, that we put on ourselves. However, those who teach us, show us, and guide us to that edge cannot take the perilous step into the space of unknowingness that is the very essence of faith. We must take the step into the knowingness. It's on us. We must be the hero of our story. We must be the one who frees our own minds. And that can feel like a lot sometimes. It takes some work. When I moved up to Alaska, a complete and total leap of faith, I have to say, I was introduced to a spiritual community that was part of what I came to understand as the New Thought tree. New Thought, which is actually based in ancient wisdom, so it's really not all that new, is traced back to 1802 and a healer teacher named Phineas Quimby. He is credited with being the first person to start teaching how we can access the power of the mind to heal the body. He used this knowledge to heal many people who then went on to create new branches of this New Thought approach to living, learning, and being. Emma Curtis Hopkins was one of those people. After splitting off from her work with Mary Baker Eddy and the Christian Scientist movement, she became a beloved guide for the many more who came to her for wisdom. Emma became known as the teacher of teachers. She taught Ralph Waldo Emerson, Ernest Holmes, who went on to somewhat accidentally create the Science of Mind movement, the Fillmores, who created Unity, and so many more avid learners who went on to create their new movements, all of which came from this same tree of ideas: Unity, Divine Science, Christian Science, Science of Mind, which is now the Centers for Spiritual Living, and the Unitarian Universalists. The basic tenet of all of these teachings is simple. Our mind is powerful, more powerful than we're aware of, and we should get to work making use of our mind. As I began to learn more about Emma and Ernest and Ralph, I realized that not only was I falling in big L love with them, I was also learning what felt like radical wisdom. I could change my mind. And by doing that, I could change my life. As someone living with a history of chronic severe depression, who had experienced some pretty damaging treatments to my brain, this concept was a true awakening. I absorbed their teachings, putting them to practical use in my life, and watched how everything, literally everything, changed. There's so much that I could share from each of these teachers. I made an attempt to narrow it down. It wasn't easy. And I also made editorial changes to accommodate more accessible pronoun usage. Times have changed, and so have we. So I'm going to share some. Let's start with Emma. And yes, this is me editing it down. There used to be a teaching believed in by a certain class of thinkers. It was that there is a fine etheric substance pervading all the worlds of the universe. This substance that is so fine was believed to fill our own bodies also, and to fill all visible things, though itself invisible. It was thought to be the formless substance out of which all things whatsoever are made. This substance they called cosmic substance. They also named it the mother, or mother principle. It was often called the God substance because it is omnipresent. To know the nature of this substance and how to deal with it was felt to be the greatest knowledge possible to obtain. The mind is made out of this omnipresent mother. The words and thoughts of the mind take up this soft substance that so finely permeates all things and make what they please. It was said that we make all our conditions in life, all our friends, all our poverty and riches, out of this life stuff by our words and thoughts. We may not be conscious when we are handling this life substance, some of them said, and yet we are using it by our thoughts and words, and all the time making things come to pass in our lives. Some taught that we never use this omnipresent God substance except when we understand it and think and speak goodness, love, truth. They all perceived that humankind is given a power of understanding good. And if we will stand by the understanding of good, we will have good experiences only in this daily life. The good is the real substance. All that is not good is but shadow. And yes, she was teaching this in the late 1800s. Amazing. A few from Ernest. True imagination is not fanciful daydreaming. It is fire from heaven. Prepare your mind to receive the best that life has to offer. We are all thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. Call it what you will. The more power one gives to their thought, the more completely they believe that their thought has power. The more power will it have. The road to freedom lies not through mysteries or occult performances, but through the intelligent use of nature's forces and laws. The law of mind is a natural law in the spiritual world. Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what they think into it. Juicy stuff. And from my beloved, finish each day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. You shall begin it serenely and with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your old nonsense. And you become what you think about all day long. If you have time and the inclination, grab a copy of Emerson's essays and read them, all of them preferably, especially though Self-Reliance and The Oversoul. Truly, they are life and mind changing. Okay, I promised you I would talk about witnessing. So, witnessing has become one of the most useful tools in my emotional, mental, and spiritual toolbox. One of the many metaphors I use when talking about living with depression is the idea of standing on the edge of a cliff, not knowing that my back is to an abyss. I'd never know how close I am to the edge until I start feeling the dirt crumbling under my heels. And then the slide downward begins. When I find myself beginning to slide down into the darkness, which still happens, I have learned that if I can catch myself on the way down, I can stop myself from getting totally lost in the depths of the canyon. My last therapist in Anchorage, the wonderful Sarah, helped me create switchbacks on the side of the cliff. So instead of just falling off and sliding right down into the pit of it, I could create a curvy path of safety nets that would catch me along the way down. Like on a regular cliff, a tree or a rock or a root would be something that I could grab onto. Friends, spirituality, Maddie, music, gratitude, all of these became switchbacks on the side of that cliff. Adding the switchbacks to my toolbox was a surprising gift. And my attitude about them came in super handy when I was in Assisi and decided to walk up Mount Subasio to get to Eremo della Carceri. Yes, it was a paved road, as you can see in that photo. Yes, it was paved and it could have been driven on. People did drive on it. There were taxis. I could have taken a taxi. I wanted to walk it. And with each switchback that I hit on the way up, it always seemed like I had reached the end of the climb, and I hadn't. I began to understand the concepts of patience, faith, and the value of water when you're climbing a mountain. Anyway, witnessing on that journey became inexorably connected to the idea of switchbacks. And witnessing then became a switchback that can help me when things get tough. Living with depression, as opposed to suffering from it or owning it in some way, takes stamina and faith and trust and, surprisingly, an awful lot of water. And it's also taught me this value of witnessing. When I'm deep in it, deep in the darkness, if I am able to, in some small way, step out of the experience and become a witness to what I am feeling, and more importantly, to what I am thinking, I can find a way to breathe through that moment. Because most of the time, it's my brain pulling one of its shenanigans on me, hoping that I will buy into whatever lie is being fired up in there. That's one of my many names for depression, the lying bully, because that's exactly what it is. And if I can become a witness to the thought, the feeling, the lie, the moment, I am able to see it for what it actually is. And I can find my way back to the path, back to a switchback, and start my climb upward and out of the abyss. It takes practice to do this. Witnessing takes practice. Prepare yourself. Here comes another long quote. Ram Dass, one of the most joy-filled, loving, and inspiring teachers that has ever walked the planet, described witnessing in this way. One way to get free of attachment is to cultivate the witness consciousness, to become a natural observer of your own life. The witness place inside you is simple awareness, the part of you that is aware of everything, just noticing, watching, not judging, just being present, being here now. The witness coexists alongside your normal consciousness as another layer of awareness, as the part of you that is awakening. Humans have this unique ability to be in two states of consciousness at once. In any experience, sensory, emotional, or conceptual, there's the experience and there's your awareness of it. That's the witness, the awareness. The witness is your awareness of your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Witnessing is like waking up in the morning and then looking in the mirror and noticing yourself. Not judging or criticizing, just neutrally observing the quality of being awake. That process of stepping back takes you out of being submerged in your experiences and thoughts and sensory input and into self-awareness. Along with that self-awareness comes the subtle joy of just being here, alive, enjoying being in the present moment. The witness is your centering device. It guides the work you do on yourself. And when I read this, it reminded me of when I used to wake up in the morning and I would see myself in the mirror and I would go, "Oh, aren't you pretty? Aren't you a pretty girl?" with my hair sticking out in all directions, looking all puffy and tired. And it would make me laugh and bring me into the moment. So this work continues. The closing song today is an old one of mine. And it came through me when I was living in Anchorage and I had just begun the journey of learning about the power of my mind. Ernest Holmes talked about gardening quite a bit. And he often spoke about our minds being like gardens and how the care of both were essential to a good life. I was inspired by this quote many years ago, and that inspiration led to the creation of the song. Ernest wrote, "It may be necessary to cultivate your garden, to uproot weeds and straighten out the rows, planting new seeds, new ideas, broader visions, and deeper realizations of life. New aspirations must be bedded here, fertilized with fervor hope, the conviction of faith, the beauty of wholeness and quietness of peace. Watch your garden carefully, guarded patiently, waiting for a new harvest, for you shall reap what you have sown." At first, I interpreted this as we need to go into the garden that is our mind and rip the weeds out and chuck them into the trash, that they are something to be despised and disposed of. However, later in other places in his books and his writings, he clarifies that the weeds are actually representations of our most unhelpful thoughts: doubt, fear, worry, anxiety. And these are all things we need to give some attention to before we go storming in with the weed killer. We're called to notice them, acknowledge them, see if there's something they need to tell us. And then, this is key, with gratitude for whatever gift they might have brought into our minds, regardless of how unpleasant it might have been, clear them out to make way for the good stuff. Because as any good gardener will tell you, you can't grow anything until the soil has been prepared. Freeing our minds is us preparing the soil for the good stuff. Here we go. Took a walk in my garden today, daisies smiling in their daisy-like way. Turned my head to sniff the blossoming tree. Opened up my human eyes, and what did I see? Weeds were sprouting up all over the place. Could not hide the shock and grief on my face. I reached down to start tearing them out, and to my real surprise I heard Spirit shout, "Hey, weeds do not care what you think of them. They grow in my love, they fear no end. They are the strongest growing plant in your yard. So just bless them and see them for what they truly are." I listened to the Spirit speaking to me. Took it all inside my heart just to see. Maybe these weeds are a lesson to learn. It's always so good when Spirit says it's your turn. Time to grow, expand, and free up your mind. Weeds are troubles and issues you find. Instead of cursing them, resisting the flow, why not reflect on them, be strong, and watch yourself grow, grow. Hey, weeds do not care what you think of them. They grow in your my love, and they fear no end. They are the strongest growing plant in your yard. So just bless them and see them for what they truly are. Hey, weeds do not care what we think of them. They grow in God's love, and they fear no end. They are the strongest growing plant in our yard. So just bless them and see them for what they truly are. All righty. We're going to move into prayer. And as we move into prayer, I wanted to start with some words from Ralph. Prayer that craves a particular commodity, anything less than all good, is vicious. Prayer is the contemplation of the facts of life from the highest point of view. It is the soliloquy of a beholding and jubilant soul. It is the Spirit of God pronouncing their works good. But prayer as a means to effect a private end is theft and meanness. It supposes dualism and not unity in nature and consciousness. As soon as we are at one with God, we will not beg. So let's just take a breath. What I love most about the way Ralph writes and speaks is he does it with conviction, 100%. He doesn't worry how the words land. He sends them out into the universe to each heart with power and presence, confidence and competence. And so today I speak this word of truth, acknowledging that we live in a world that is constantly challenging us to walk the high ground. It's constantly offering us opportunities to go low. And it's hard not to slip there. It's hard to resist that temptation when we are faced every day with human beings who make choices that absolutely flummox us. We cry out, how can this person say that? How can this person do that? How can this person think that? And it moves us into a place of despair and despondency and anger and frustration and rage and sadness. And so our job is now. Our work is now. As we pray, as we speak, as we breathe, as we move, as we live, is to step out of those moments and witness. Witness our own mind and ask the question, who do I want to be? How do I want to live? What thought do I want to think, and what word do I want to speak? Without spiritual bypassing, without ignoring, without putting our heads in the sand. No, look at what's going on. Acknowledge what is going on in this matrix little r real world. And then step back and witness what we know to be the real, big R, real world. That there is one truth, and that is love. That there is one life, and that is love. That there is one all-encompassing, omnipresent mind, and we are one with it, in it, of it, and we get to walk that road. We get to choose that path. We get to let go of the anchors around our ankles, weighing us down, dragging us, the shackles that are holding us. We get to let go of them and say, yes. Yes to life. Yes to love. Yes to good. Where there's darkness, I will shine light. Where there is hopelessness, I will give faith and hope, just as our brother Francesco taught us to say. We have choices every day. Let's free our minds to choose high, good, loving, productive, effervescent, kind, life-affirming thoughts. And let's know that we're doing it together, so when we feel alone, we know that all of us here, hearing my voice in this moment and in the future, we're doing it together. Amen. Ashe. Thank you, God. So Spirit's Home is going on the road next week to Rev Karen's gathering of Unity of Coastal Delaware. I'm so excited to be going back to Unity of Coastal Delaware. They're a great community. And I'll be talking about expressing your divine purpose. There's going to be a little bit of Vincent van Gogh in there, I have a feeling. I just have a feeling. And then in August, I'll be returning to Friends of Unity Plymouth in Plymouth, Michigan. And I don't know what I'm going to be talking about yet. And then we'll be back here the second week of August. And then in September, if anybody out of town feels like traveling, we're going to do a live living room service again in September 13th, with actual human beings in my living room, as well as Zoom. Always open to travel. If you'd like me to come to your center, I'm open. And things are going great. The new Wi-Fi is fabulous. So happy, so grateful, so grateful. And yeah, it's good. We're growing, and I feel really, really happy. So yay. So we're going to sing a little gratitude song. And for those of you in the room who were recently ordained through the Thread Interfaith Seminary, you're going to recognize this music, because this is what I played as you processed out after you were commenced. You were commenced? After you commenced. This is called Always So Grateful, and feel free to unmute Echo. I played it a little slower for you. Always so grateful, always so grateful. Always so grateful, always so grateful. Saying thanks and giving thanks. Living a life of gratitude is the way I choose to live. Saying thanks and giving thanks. Living a life of gratitude is the way I choose to live my life, and I am always so grateful. Always so grateful. Look around, so much to say, yes. I'm thankful now for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Look around, so much to say, yes. I'm thankful now for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. None whatsoever. That's why I'm always so grateful. Always so grateful. Always so grateful. So if you'd like to, we will see you next month, second Sunday in August, August 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you would like to donate, we do use the QR code on Venmo, or you can just contact me and send a check or call me and tell me what you want to do. Your donations make it possible for the emails to go out, for the videos to get edited and sent out and then put on YouTube, and for so much to continue happening. So the donations make a difference, and we appreciate you so much. And thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I'm guided. I know I'm shown which way to go. I know I'm guided.